Four participants in the Hong Kong Marathon were disqualified after wearing bibs that did not display their designated numbers. Several academics stressed all runners have the responsibility to check whether there are any issues with their assigned numbers before the start of the event. Timothy Lee reports.
3, 2, 1.
All four of the disqualified runners at yesterday's marathon came from the mainland, including the top two finishers of the half marathon, He Yingbing and Sun Xiaoyang. Both of them wore bibs that failed to show their given numbers. Another two mainland runners in the 10-kilometer event, Lan Jiehuai and Xu Guoge, were disqualified for similar reasons. Xu, who initially placed second in the race, was replaced by third-place local Wang Zito. Responding to allegations of participants running on behalf of others, Wang does not believe the disqualified runners engage in such activity. During the post-marathon press conference, representatives of the Hong Kong-China Association of Athletics Affiliates said the bibs worn by the disqualified runners were all provided by a single person. This, as some academics said the switching of bibs in marathons is exceptionally rare, given they display the runner's full English name, their specific events, and the starting time of the race. Louis Hongtek, a senior lecturer at the Education University's Department of Health and Physical Education, said all athletes bear the responsibility of checking their numbers before the start of sports events.
U.S. President Donald Trump has signaled another tariff escalation, saying he will soon slap fresh levies on steel and aluminum. He also said more import duties will be announced later in the week. Meanwhile, China's retaliatory tariffs on a range of U.S. goods took effect on Monday, and India's prime minister is slated to meet with Trump on planned tariff concessions. Danny Zhou has the story.
Donald Trump flew to New Orleans for the NFL Super Bowl on Sunday and became the first sitting U.S. president to attend the event. Speaking to reporters, he made an unexpected announcement aboard Air Force One, saying he would impose sweeping tariffs of 25% on all steel and aluminium products coming into the United States. He added they will be on top of existing metal duties. Trump is also planning to announce details of reciprocal tariffs on many countries on Tuesday or Wednesday.
It's reciprocal tariffs, and very simply, it's if they charge us, we charge them. That's all.
When does it go into effect, sir?
Almost immediately.
This is on every country?
Every country will be reciprocal. That's right.
Mr. President, can you confirm that
it won't affect everybody because there's some where we have similar tariffs, but the ones that are taking advantage of the United States.
Trump's latest tariff war proclamations came after he ordered 25% tariffs on all goods from Canada and Mexico, two of America's largest trading partners. He later took a back step and pulsed the tariffs against the two neighboring countries for 30 days following talks. As the Trump administration proceeded to impose new levies of 10% against China, Beijing swiftly announced tit-for-tat import taxes on $14 billion worth of American goods, which would come into effect on February the 10th. Unlike Washington's across-the-board tariffs, the Customs Tariff Commission of China's State Council targeted key areas. The measures include an additional 15% duty on American coal, coke, and liquefied natural gas, alongside a 10% tariff on imports of crude oil, agricultural machinery, large displacement vehicles, and pickup trucks from the U.S. Separately, Beijing has launched antitrust probe into Google and put American clothing company PVH Corp and biotech firm Illumina on its unreliable entity list. Tokyo has so far escaped the brewing trade war. Japanese Prime Minister Shigeru Ishiba, who held meetings with Trump at the White House last week, expressed optimism that his country could avert higher U.S. tariffs as Trump recognized Japan's huge amount of investment and jobs created in the U.S. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to start his two-day U.S. tour from Wednesday. Sources say India, which recently slashed its top-end basic tariff rate, is contemplating additional tariff cuts for products ranging from electronics to medical equipment to boost U.S. exports and avoid tariff tensions. Danny Zhou, TVB News.
Donald Trump took another verbal dig at neighbors Canada, saying it is not a viable country. The U.S. president repeated a claim which has angered many Canadians that their country should become the 51st state of America. The U.S. leader has paused 25% tariffs on Canada, but says he's not seen enough so far to stop them from being introduced in a few weeks' time. He wants Canada to do more to stop the flow of fentanyl. The president made the comments on Air Force One en route to the NFL Super Bowl in New Orleans. He reminded passengers that he signed an executive order to change the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America.
If you could please direct your attention out the right side of the aircraft. Air Force One is currently in international waters for the first time in history, flying over the recently renamed Gulf of America. Please enjoy the flight, and we are now about to head westbound to Super Bowl 59.
Hamas's Gaza chief says Donald Trump's plan for the enclave is doomed. Khalil al-Hayya rejected the proposal while visiting Iran. The U.S. leader says he wants America to own Gaza and give away parts to other countries to help with reconstruction. Another hostage exchange went smoothly over the weekend, but there is concern Trump's ideas and statements could disrupt the Hamas-Israel ceasefire. David Garrett reports.
Air Force One carrying Donald Trump landing ahead of the NFL Super Bowl in New Orleans. Trump has some new ideas for Gaza. He wants to rehouse Palestinians to, in his words, clean out the Strip and then turn it into the Riviera of the Middle East. Earlier, despite being showered with criticism from the Arab world and beyond, the US president continued to pursue his goals.
I'm committed to buying and owning Gaza. As far as us rebuilding it, we may give it to other states in the Middle East to build sections of it. Other people may do it through our auspices. But we're committed to owning it, taking it, and making sure that Hamas doesn't move back. There's nothing to move back into. The place is a demolition site.
Trump says Gaza can be beautiful without disastrous Hamas. This performer at the Super Bowl does not agree, with Trump attending, a dancer in the halftime show unfurling a Sudan-Palestinian flag with Gaza written on it in an apparent demonstration against US policy in the Middle East. He could face criminal charges.
Trump's plan aus dem Gazastreifen.
Opposition to Trump's plan is not isolated. Traditional US allies oppose it.
Furchtbarer.
German Chancellor Olaf Scholz calling it a scandal in a national TV debate as he seeks re-election. Opponent and CDU candidate Friedrich Merz agreed. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan says Trump's relocation plans are not worthy of discussion, already calling Trump's plans unacceptable. Here, Erdogan simply says, the people stay despite cruel, savage Israeli attacks. They will continue to stay in Gaza. Hamas dismissed the US proposal. The acting chairman of their political bureau, Khalil al-Hayya, attending meetings in Iran, says Trump's ambition is doomed, predicting it will be brought crashing down like previous Western plans. In Gaza, traffic was flowing freely north to south through the devastation of the Netzarim corridor. Israel's military withdrew in accordance with a deadline yesterday. Israel occupied the corridor for some time, carrying out many operations targeting Hamas. The surrounding area, to use Trump's exact words, looks like a demolition site. David Garrett, TVB News.
A research team from the University of Hong Kong has developed an oral medication aimed at treating a rare form of leukemia. Researchers say patients' survival rates could exceed 97% with the help of the medicine. They added their medical product has already been approved by U.S. and European regulatory bodies. Timothy Lee tells us more.
Many people suffering from leukemia often have to resort to expensive chemotherapy treatments at the city's private hospitals. Besides being a dent in the wallet, the treatments often result in long-term side effects. One such case involved Ms. Wong, who spent $2.6 million on chemotherapy in just 2 months after contracting acute promyelocytic leukemia 2 years ago. After being transferred to Queen Mary Hospital, Wong fully recovered from the disease after she began taking the oral leukemia treatment developed by HKU Med. The former leukemia patient said the oral medicine has a salty taste similar to seawater or soy sauce. She noted its effectiveness could be seen in the fact that no one would believe she suffered from blood cancer more than a year ago unless she told them. APL, a type of blood cancer with a high fatality rate, is traditionally treated with chemotherapy and has a high recurrence rate. In a bid to combat the aggressive disease, a research team from HKU Med began developing an oral formulation of arsenic trioxide to fight the cancer since 2010. Its negative side effects on the heart is also significantly lower. As of now, around 430 public hospital patients have been treated via the oral method. With the medicine offering an overall survival rate of over 97%, the HKU research team emphasizes effectiveness over traditional chemotherapy.
With this latest treatment regimen with oral arsenic trioxide-based therapy, when we compare it with the traditional ATRA chemotherapy, with traditional ATRA chemotherapy, in the real-world setting, we are just roughly getting around 80% or less of cure in the long term. Because, first of all, patients may die early on because of the complications or the problems with chemotherapy and the disease.
The HKU Med research team stressed the oral arsenic trioxide for leukemia is the first prescription medicine in Hong Kong to be globalized. This, as a pharmaceutical company working with the university, said the medicine could be produced on a larger scale by 2028. Timothy Lee, TVB News.
A robot-assisted system developed by the Eastern Hospital's robotic surgery team has succeeded in improving surgical precision during operations. The technology not only minimizes complications and the discomfort of patients, but also cuts down on recovery time. The team was named among the Outstanding Teams of the Year by the Hospital Authority. Jackie Lin spoke with the team.
A fluid, steady, and precise movement of the robotic grippers, and the expert maneuvering around the wound. Behind the minimally invasive incision was the expert control of a skilled surgeon's hands and feet. The 3D visualization capability of the robot-assisted surgical system also allows surgeons to better gauge the distance and depths around the wound, with a vibration suppression technology for better precision and stability in execution. A medical specialist has to be trained for around 5 years to be qualified to use the system. Pamela Yu Nethersole Eastern Hospital has adopted the system since 2009 and used it to undertake more than 3,800 operations. 71-year-old patient Mr. Wang shared his experience. He said surgery in the past had left scars about 3 to 4 inches long. Now the incision is just the size of a pea and it caused much less pain and suffering.
The length of stay in the hospital has passed about 10 to 14 days. Now it's about 8 to 10 days, much earlier. And also, we also talk about the early of the returning of the bowel function.
The team wants to further improve the robot-assisted capabilities to minimize invasiveness.
If we are able to utilize single port assisted, actually can help us tackle with some difficult complex surgery in a very tight space, which may benefit patients, for example, in the oral pharynx, in the oral cavity, and also can further reduce the wound size.
The system also has a dual console setup. That means surgeons can alternate the control of the robotic arms, allowing more experienced doctors to guide their colleagues under training more efficiently. The Eastern Hospital's robotic surgery team was named as one of the 7 outstanding teams of the year in 2024 by the Hospital Authority. But as multiple specialties, including gynecology, urology, and colorectal surgery, have to share the system now for both practice sessions and operations, the team hopes more such robotic equipment can be introduced to benefit more patients. Jackie Lin, TVB News.
The government's development blueprint for Hong Kong's tourism industry 2.0 suggested the improvement of more facilities along the city's hiking trails as part of its plan to boost green tourism. Some lawmakers suggested authorities should provide more facilities offering drinking water and washrooms in such areas. This as the Dragon's Back Trail was earlier given the title of Best Urban Hike in Asia by Time magazine. A survey conducted between January and this month, involving more than 380 avid hikers, found that 60% of them believe it would be most effective to promote the city's hiking trails via documentaries and in video format. Regarding the lack of facilities on the trails, 50% said there are not enough drinking water facilities, while 40% noted the need for additional washrooms. That's the news. Thanks for watching. Pearl Magazine is up shortly. See you then.